The scent of cinnamon in the air is extra special during the holidays. Hi everyone, I'm Ahmed, and today on Kravings Food Adventures, we're making cinnamon rolls, also known as cinnamon swirlies. There's nothing quite like the taste of a warm cinnamon roll just as it comes out of the oven, and it's covered with an ooey gooey sticky glaze. In a bowl, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of warm water and a teaspoon of sugar, and I'm going to sprinkle in 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. Now the yeast loves the sugar, and I'm going to leave it aside for about 10 minutes, and it's going to get really nice and frothy. In my stand mixer, I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of warm milk. Now I'm using whole milk, and I'm also going to add a whole egg, a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter that I've melted, and a 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm also going to add a dash of vanilla, and I've pre-sifted 4 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to add 1 cup in. I'm going to take my bowl and add it to my stand mixer and turn it on. I'm going to start at a very low setting just so everything gets well incorporated. I'm going to add the yeast mixture. Now it's nice and frothy, and I'm going to add this in, and slowly I'm going to incorporate the rest of the flour. Now I'm going to make sure I scrape the sides of the bowl, and I'm going to keep mixing this till my dough mixture is nice and glossy. If your dough gets a little too soft, you can just add a little bit extra flour. When this is ready, I am going to tip it out onto my floured surface, and I'm going to knead the dough just for a little bit. Next, I'm going to add it to a bowl that I've just oiled, and I'm going to roll the dough in the oil, and I'm going to cover it with some cling film. Now put this in a really warm spot for about an hour, and you will notice that it will double in size. Once your dough has doubled in size, it's ready to roll. Now I prefer the use of a silicone mat, and I find it really easy to pick the dough up when I need to roll it. I'm going to add some flour to my silicone mat, and I'm going to roll the dough out into a rectangular shape. In a bowl, I'm going to take 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, a 1/4 of a cup of white sugar, 1 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon powder, and I've got a 1/4 cup of butter that has come to room temperature. I'm going to mix this all together really well. Now if you find that your butter is still too stiff, you can add it in the microwave, just zap it for a few seconds, and everything's going to come together really well. I'm going to take this sugared mixture, and I'm going to simply spread it over the top of my dough. Once everything has been spread out and is nice and even, I'm going to take the longer side of my rolled dough, and I'm just going to roll it inside itself just like a jelly roll. Once I've come to the end, it's ready to be cut. I'm going to divide it into half, and then those halves into halves, and so on and so forth till I get about 16 pieces. I'm going to take an oven-proof dish that I've already greased, and I'm going to add my cinnamon rolls into the oven-proof dish. I'm going to cover it with cling film and leave it back in a warm place for another hour. Now this is going to rise again. While my dough is aside in a warm place, I'm going to quickly work on a glaze. Now this is super simple. All I'm going to do is take a cup of icing sugar, and I'm going to dissolve it in a little bit of milk, and I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of melted butter to it. That's it. After my dough is ready, I'm going to stick it in a preheated oven at 350 degrees, and it's going to cook for about 30 minutes till it's nice and golden brown. Once it's ready, I'm going to pull it out of the oven and pour the glaze over the cinnamon buns or swirlies while they're still warm. And it's ready for you to enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me on Kravings Food Adventures. I hope you love this recipe, and I hope you're going to come back for more, because I have new recipes every Friday. And this recipe is a special 12 Days of Christmas edition. Please make sure to click on all the links that you see coming up. There are fabulous recipes to get you through the holiday season. I hope to see you again. From Kravings, happy holidays.